What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a team that did really well for me. I had this urge to just try a double ground team, and I was really trying to figure out what to play with my Gliscor, and I honestly came across this team. It wasn't really this team, but like just the fairy double ground sort of strategy. I've seen it in opponents' teams a lot, and so I wanted to give it a go myself. We have Clefable with Meteor Mash on the lead here, and we forego Swift because in my opinion, Swift hits like a wet noodle, and Meteor Mash has actual meaningful coverage, where Swift really is just a bait move that if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't do much damage. We're going to throw Shadow Gliscor on the safe swap, and I wanted to take my like fairly new-ish Gastrodon XL out for a test drive. If you don't have the XLs for a Gastrodon, that's okay. You could run either Shadow Golurk, there you go. Golurk, could be really Donphan, like any of the ground types do really well here. You don't have to run the Gastrodon, but I did because I was like, I got one built, I might as well make some use out of it. Yeah, you get some use out of all that Stardust. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at these games because we had a very strong 8-2 run with this team, and we're going to get into the first battle where we have a Tentacruel. Could not ask for a worse lead for this poor little fairy here, but Clefable is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So, opponent counter swaps my Gliscor with a Levani. Now, if I don't have Aerial Ace, they completely destroy me in this case, but I have actually learned the ways. I thought that Night Slash was the way, but we are going to be using Aerial Ace in this case, and it's going to do fine. Aerial Ace truly is the better move. I had to learn through a little bit of trial and error, as well as, you know, being told, but now the opponent has 2 HP. The sand attacks literally do 1 HP, and they lived one of them, and I'm going to need to get another one through. We do take out the Levani and maintain switch, and the opponent's going to come in with their own Gliscor, and it kind of makes sense now why they didn't swap in the Gliscor. The reason why they didn't swap it in is because if you swap into a mirror match and you're behind energy and you don't have any meaningful like difference, like the opponent basically swaps in behind energy and I'm able to outpace them to Aerial Aces, so they basically lose every even shield situation at that point. Now opponent swaps right into the Tentacruel and learns why that was a bad idea, getting taken out here by the Gastrodon. Good game. And that's why I'm playing the double ground, because I'm seeing so many poisons in this meta. I feel like at some point I'm going to have to. Now, opponent and I don't really know what to do, and you're going to see that this team does struggle a bit with opposing for alligators. I'm able to kind of maneuver my way around them, but they are a difficult thing to handle with this team. So if you do want to have some better play into opposing for alligators, you could try something else other than Gliscor on the save swap, or you could try, you know, using something that's a little bit more move pressure than Clefable. You could also maybe flip the team around, throw Gastrodon on the lead, have Clefable in the back, maybe save swap a different fairy. There's a ton of different ways you could go about doing this, but we're going to stick with this one because it works. The opponent is going to come in with a Virizion, and now that I've seen this Virizion, I think I'm going to go back into my Gliscor here, and this is fine because I have 2 strong answers to the Virizion, and the opponent so far has not shown that they've got much of an answer to a ground type. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to swap into my Gliscor. I'm going to go for the Aerial Aces here, try to take this thing out, as they are pretty much in range of the Aerial Ace at this point, and I have no shields left. So unfortunately, I have to hope that Gastrodon, with the HP that it's got left, is going to be able to clutch up a win here. We are almost going to throw the Aerial Ace, but the opponent swaps just shy of us getting to that Aerial Ace, and we're going to be throwing a full Earthquake into this Registeel.
Boom!
And I know it didn't knock out, but we're going to hit the button anyway, because we love dunking on Registeel on this channel. Yes, we do. Have an Earth Power, buddy.
Boom!
The opponent now comes in with the Virizion, but unfortunately for them, the Clefable does have energy, and it's just way too healthy. They're going to need like at least 3 or 4 Leaf Blades to be able to knock us out, and even though they're going to get a full farm down to the Gastrodon, they're not going to be able to make the energy that would be needed to take care of that. Plus, we were just 1 away anyway, so we're going to go for the Moonblast here, and we get 3 booms in one video, because why not?
Boom!
Even though it didn't take out the full health bar, we still love the sound bit. Good game to the opponent here. In the next game we get Clefable into a Feraligatr, so we're going to have to see how I'm able to maneuver around these because it is a little bit tricky. I basically stay in these leads here and just try to see if the opponent decides to try and call a Swift. Most Clefables in this Ultra League are running Swift. I'm one of the rare few that have decided to run the Meteor Mash, so for me, there is no baiting here. I'm just going straight for Moonblast because I can tank one Hydro Cannon, and I can also get, if I need to, I can get to 2 Moonblasts before they can get to 3 Hydro Cannons. So technically, I will be able to have a positive matchup in that case, but the opponent now comes in with a Drifblim, and now I'm just like, I feel like I'm absolutely cooked. There's no way that I could possibly win this game. I wish I had Night Slash right now. We're going to go for the Aerial Ace. They're going to go they're just going to go for Icy Wind to probably knock me out here, so I'm pretty cooked. But they're actually going to go for Shadow Ball, and we live it, which kind of clues me in, like, maybe they're on Mystical Fire. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because you want to be able to beat, you know, with a Feraligatr lead, you kind of want to be able to, I don't even know what you would beat. I need somebody to rationalize why the Mystical Fire is on this Drifblim for me in the comments. Please tell me, because I genuinely do not know. We're going to go for the Moonblast Meteor Mash here, and, I mean, what else do I have here? I got to see if I can't get in. The opponent decides to swap in the Gator, and that's going to give my Gastrodon a slight energy advantage here. And that actually is going to be interesting. I'm going to try to go for this Body Slam. I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's probably not. It's double resisted. It's a non-shadow. But they no-shield it. And because I know that they're on Mystical Fire, they're probably going to full send the Shadow Ball, and my attack stat's going to remain intact here. Shadow Ball is going to connect. We're going to farm down the Flying type with the Gastrodon. What's in the back? It's a Pangoro, dude. I did not expect there to be a Pangoro back there, and I certainly would have expected the opponent to try and save a shield for it, but since we're 1 away from the Meteor Mash, we can come in, Clefable's getting to the move here, and that's going to take out the opponent's Pangoro.
Boom!
Very close, good game here. That was very much I don't know what kind of team that was, but it was a team. Anyway. I don't know, the 3 that were put together, like, they may have been like one of those teams where it's like all the trainer maybe has, or maybe they just want to have some fun with their favorites. On paper, the team lacks, it lacks cohesiveness that you might want to see like on PV Poke or something. But anyway, it still looks like a fun team, honestly. There's a lot of fun teams down here, but I'm going to go ahead and stay in this matchup here as I have my Clefable on Meteor Mash. Unfortunately, I don't think that was a cap tie. I did tap it a little bit late, so I'm not going to be able to get this move in, but I'm going to try to get this other Meteor Mash off. I expect the opponent at some point to shield up here because they're going to get one shot by Meteor Mash, and the fact that I'm not switching out means that they are probably not going to have a good time in the back. Now, I unfortunately do not have a solid swap in here to this Tapu Fini, so I'm going to go ahead and chip them a bit with a Meteor Mash. Maybe I should have thrown the Moonblast here. I'm not really certain. It's kind of a difficult choice to have to make in that mid-game section because you're like, do I save the energy because I need to deal with the Aurorus later? But we're going to be able to get this Body Slam in just before the opponent's able to get to a Surf. And if the opponent decides to come back in with Aurorus, they're going to have a bad time because they're going to have to take an Earth Power or throw the energy that they've got very quickly. So we're probably going to see their third Pokemon here, and that's going to be a Buzzwole. Buzzwole is a little bit scary. Now, thankfully, we have the Gliscor, and an Aerial Ace should knock out because it's Flying type against Buzzwole, but we have to do this and lure out the opponent's Aurorus. Now, their switch clock may not quite be up yet, and that might be why they're throwing this Lunge first, but I'm so close to an Earthquake now that the opponent, even if they throw this energy, I can shield and get an Earthquake off, and we're taking out the Aurorus right now. I'm getting rid of this thing. I don't even care, dude. I'm not going to overfarm. I'm just immediately getting the Earthquake. I'm not taking any chances. We are going to get
Boom!
a nice one-shot in and try to get to the move. Unfortunately for Buzzwole, counter doesn't generate as much energy as it used to. They're not getting to that lunge in time. This is going to knock out a Buzzwole.
Boom!
And probably its whole family, too. Good game. Next game up, we got Clefable into a Sylveon. Now, this is normally not amazing. I would normally save switch here, but I do have Meteor Mash, which means I could do super effective damage here right off the rip. We're going to go for the Meteor Mash and see if the opponent decides to shield. I could definitely make a switch here at some point. Sylveon, a little bit awkward here, but now that we know that they're so low, this is fine. I'm even able to get to the Aerial Ace here before they're going to be able to get to a move, or at least, you know, throw one. And the opponent comes in with Talonflame, and I'm just like, what? Oh, this whole team. This is the moment that I realized this whole team kind of loses to Talonflame. Now, it's not terrible, right? We can handle it. Watch. We're absolute Giga Chads. We're going to handle this. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's fine. But it's very difficult, especially because the opponent has Flame Charge. They're going to keep ramping up their damage. Clefable is walled, but what I'm trying to do here is get it into a range where a Moonblast might get it to knock out. But I wasn't as close to a Moonblast as I thought, so unfortunately I'm forced to give up a shield in case this is a Brave Bird or something, and the opponent isn't even at Brave Bird. And we're not able to get to the Moonblast in time, so they're going to go for a move. I feel like they might have a Moonblast on the Sylveon, but it's just a Psyshock. I am now getting myself within 2 of this Moonblast, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to live and Incinerate, but no, the damage is registered, unfortunately, which means that we're going to end up taking an Incinerate, most likely from the Talonflame. But the opponent comes in with a Magnezone to get the farm down with the Magnezone, and they're going to find out very quickly why that was not a great idea. This actually gives me an opportunity to win this game because we can come in with a Gastrodon. We even get the attack drop off of the Moonblast, which wasn't even necessary, just a little bit salt in the wound. But you can probably see now, we're going to nearly farm down the opponent's Magnezone. Talonflame going for a move here would not matter because they threw the Mirror Shot. Now, because they were at the move, I figure either they're going to throw an Incinerate and I'm going to Sand Attack down, or they're going to throw Energy, and they do throw the Energy. Mud Slap going to knock out the Talonflame and the Magnezone, and we're going to take that game. Well played to the opponent. And we just pop off 5-0, no big deal, right? Rank 18, getting pretty sweaty, getting into the next game. Clefable and XehrFelrose. I have 2 better answers in the back, so I'm going to immediately switch out. And the opponent not switching out right away, and they come in with a Typhlosion. Look at how much damage those Incinerates are doing, man. I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace, try to bait, see if I can't get a shield out of this Typhlosion because they have to fear the Earthquake. And the opponent calls the bait. Insane. But the thing is it doesn't matter because they're going to get a shield from me regardless at this point, but I'm farming down. If they want to come back in with the XehrFelrose, they're going to have to give up a shield and then some in order to get a farm down against me. They're 1 away from a move on the XehrFelrose. They come in with a Gallade, and that is... Dude, this team looks so frail and fun. This is like one of those teams that, like, you run it just to absolutely have fun and try and send it to Jamie Finn because it's a triple shadow. And shout-outs to the GOAT, Jamie Finn, dude. Love your content, bro. If you guys haven't watched any of Jamie Finn's content, you're missing out. The man is an absolute legend. This is going to do it. This is going to take out the opponent. Allowed us to overfarm way too much, and that is going to be curtains for the opponent here. They're just going to concede. Well played. I have to imagine they're probably never going to be that weak to ground again in their life. But anyway, next game up, we got a battle against a fellow trainer that is of a pretty well-renowned caliber, usual leaderboard or custom approach, well known for his double charm teams and things of the sort. Has a Feraligatr in the lead here and is going to try to catch a move on the Licky Licky here, but we're going to come in with the Gastrodon and try to shut this down, and hopefully we're going to be able to shut it down. That is, they are going to go for a Shadow Ball here on the Gastrodon, doing some significant damage. Both Pokemon very, very bulky here. Not a very fun matchup by any means, but we're going to just go for the Earth Power here and try to see if we can't, you know, let me farm down, but that really doesn't do as much damage as I hoped it would. I was hoping it would do a little bit more. Again, I'm not really well versed in the Gastrodon matchups. I didn't build this thing all that long ago. They are saving 2 shields. Now I'm going to try to see if I can't get to a Body Slam, but I'm going to let this go at this point. Like, you know what? It's fine. Even though it's a Shadow Ball, I should be able to farm down here, and that hopefully allows us to do a ton of damage into the Feraligatr. The opponent's going to come in with that Feraligatr, and we're going to go for the Earth Power, and I'm going to try to go for one more Mud Slap and then go for a move here. They're going to go not shielding anything here. They're going to let the whatever's in the back have 2 shields try to sweep us here because they're just going to let it go. It's the Alolan Sand Slash, and with 2 shields, unfortunately, this thing just is going to absolutely cook me. My Clefable doesn't have enough energy. Now, if I was able to, I needed to try and see if I could just get him to shield this move. That was really my only hope here. The Gastrodon, unfortunately, isn't even to a point where it's going to be able to get to a move. Or even do any fast move damage, just literally sitting at 1 HP. And Clefable would have to get to 3 Meteor Mashes, which unfortunately at the HP range it's at, probably isn't possible. I could have tried to make a catch, but I really wasn't sure that I'd even be able to. I'm going to concede and give him the game. He played it very well. Team did exactly what it needed to do. What do I mean by that? His team used Licky Licky as the way to bring out the ground type, and absolutely did so. And I wasn't able to finish the game with it. Now, had I brought Gliscor in to the Licky Licky and let Gastrodon cook in the back against the Sandslash, that would have actually been a much better situation for me, but unfortunately was not something that I was able to do. Now, in hindsight, maybe what I do is I go for that Moonblast or Meteor Master chip and then come with Gliscor. In the future, that might be how I play those out. But next game, we're going to have Feraligatr in the lead. Again, I'm just, I have to deal with this thing somehow. I'm just going to stay in with my Clefable and hope that whatever's in the back maybe is somewhat weak. The opponent is going to go for another Hydro Cannon. I'm just going to let my Clefable go and look to get some farm on my Gliscor here as the opponent threw pretty much when they were getting to the moves, so I should be able to safely farm down with Sand Attack and get some energy, and the opponent comes in with a Zygarde. Now, this is 2/3 a team that I featured earlier this week, as you all may have seen, with Zygarde and Tentacruel in the back. So I am slightly hopeful that that's the team that I'm facing, but again, Zygarde has been all over the place in, rank 18, early elo, everything. Like, it got Outrage as well, so I'm going to bank the Aerial Ace, and the opponent has the Tentacruel, and we are now absolutely cooking. It is the team. Was a very strong team as well. I happen to be running Gastrodon because I'm trying to hunt Tentacruel with it. So, or, Drapion, no one is, no poisons are exempt from the wrath of Gastrodon. We're going to shield up an Acid Spray, man. Had I been paying attention and counting, I know that that wasn't enough in hindsight for a Scald. I should have just let it. I should have just let it go. But, opponent's going to be taking this Earth Power, having a shield. They do decide not to shield, trying to call that bait, but we are not going to give them the chance. That's going to be a good game, well played. Clefable into Virizion in the next game. Really nice lead here for us. And the opponent's going to immediately switch into a Feraligatr. And even though Feraligatr is tricky for this team, we have been able to manage it. Now I'm going to stay in, try to get a shield chip, let the opponent hit me with their Hydro Cannon, but at the very last second, I decide to go for a shield here, hoping that either they don't shield or I'm going to be able to come with my Gastrodon. In the one shields, this is a little bit better of a matchup, but we're going to be going for those Mud Slaps and try to go for the Body Slam. Really should have just kept going for the Mud Slaps and prioritized timing. But they're going to go for Crunch. And they get the debuff. Like, normally you would expect somebody to throw the Hydro Cannon. They just happen to throw Crunch. And I'm like, you know what? YOLO, let's see if we can't get that debuff. And they get it. And I'm just very, very sad. But we have two answers to Virizion, so I decide I'm not going to try to go for switch advantage here. I'm going to get the farm down on my Clefable. They're at a very low health range where it looks like I should be able to get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Fairy Winds I'm going to need to get that knockout. And the opponent has an Escavalier in the back. Talk about a blast from the past here. And we're going to be getting a Moonblast off. This will do a significant chunk of damage to the Escavalier. And the opponent now is core broken by this Gliscor. Gliscor is a very, very strong pick, by the way. If you can keep it away from things like Feraligatr, honestly, and literally any ice type, this thing actually does so well in this meta. I'm really glad to see Gliscor coming back to form finally, because this thing has just been one of my Pokemon that I've really enjoyed using back when it had Wing Attack, that when Wing Attack was stronger, generated more energy. The opponent's going to try to finish the game with the Escavalier. They're going to find out why that's a bad idea. I'm going to shield up here in case they have Mega Horn. I don't want to risk it, but they go for the double resisted Drill Run, and I'm just like, come on, man. We're going to go for the Aerial Ace, try to get to a second one. Clefable could also probably get to a move, but the opponent just lets it go, knowing that the game is over. And that's going to be well played to the opponent. I love this spiced Escav. I wish it would come back. They need to, like, take some of the Pokemon that get nerfed by counter and give them another decent move. Anyway, this game here, this one was wild, dude. This one, opponent has Gastrodon. I'm going to throw the Moonblast on good timing on 7 Fairy Winds. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for 1 and then go into the Gliscor and try and catch. But look, the opponent, they swap into a Zygarde at the same time that I swap into my Gliscor. And there's no way that they could have possibly known that I was coming in with Gliscor. And like, who in their right mind would ever swap like that? I don't understand. I played these games on stream, and while I don't know who this trainer is, I don't know if they were watching my stream, but it felt like a very weird way to play, because nobody in their right mind normally would ever bring a Zygarde into a Clefable like that. So I was very, very confused, truthfully. And I'm hoping that they don't have Earthquake. We're going to go for a full farm down here, try to cook with whatever might be in the back, see if we can't get this farm down, but just before the opponent gets farmed down, they have another Bulldoze, and they get a defense drop on the last one, and they got a defense drop on this one too. And then they come back in with the Gastrodon, they have a Mandibuzz in the back, and I've been just completely annihilated by that stupid Mandibuzz. Good game to the opponent. Whole backline was weak to Clefable, but unfortunately, I don't know how we, I don't know. That was just, it is what it is, right? We lose games sometimes for reasons we don't quite understand, but it's okay. We just move on, keep our head up, and I was able to get my elo after this. We did start at about 2,230 or so elo, and then sets afterward, I tried to go into Fantasy Cup and tanked it all away. So that was fun. But anyway, that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.